Hey watercolor wizards, Hajra here. Today, we'll be comparing Billy Showell watercolor brushes to Anna Mason watercolor brushes. Video scripts, pencil sketches, and ink drawings for this video and others, art blogs, deconstructed painting posts, extra art videos, and more rewards are available for patrons supporting me on Patreon. Thanks for parking your brushes here, and let the epic painting adventures begin. I'll start by alternating between the Anna and Billy brushes just for doodling so I can identify how they are different, and then I'll do a quick art project with just the Anna Mason brushes. In a future video, I will do a similar quick project with my Billy Showell brushes to finish off the comparison. You can take my assessment of the Billy versus Anna brushes and hopefully find it useful, but your preferences and what you look for in a brush may be totally different from mine. Just like Billy and Anna themselves, who are both botanical painters but have rather different preferences and techniques. So pay less attention to what I like and dislike about these brushes and more to the properties and comparisons of the brushes themselves so you can decide which one you like better based on the brush properties you prefer. So, for the Anna Mason brushes, they are small, round-shaped, synthetic spotter brushes that come in a set of 5. The sizes are from 000 to 5, and I'll demo the largest two, the size 3 and 5, which are both still pretty small brushes since these are spotters and not traditional round brushes. You can see me making various strokes with them, from fine lines to broad strokes to larger wash sections and dry brush, and I'll explain how that goes. A spotter's for, well, spotting, and for fine lines and detail work usually. But Anna, I believe, uses these spotters for details as well as general painting workhorses in place of the usual round brush. The brushes are firm and short-haired with a thinner belly than a conventional round. They're more like coloring with a felt tip marker, giving firmer, harder strokes on the paper since the hair is short and synthetic. It's a plus that they're not floppy, which can happen to rounds that are too full-bellied or long-haired, but as synthetic spotters, these brushes don't carry much water or paint either. And larger wet wash attempts run dry quickly and leave hard edges as you go back for more paint and water. With whatever paint that does end up in this brush, there's less water to pigment ratio since it's synthetic and small bellied, and that'll contribute to resulting in more hard edges too. So the Anna brushes aren't good wash and glaze or blending brushes, and that makes sense for Anna's technique, which is more like controlled coloring with marker on an oversized drawing. I found the brushes to be naturally good for details and embellishments, as all 5 are spotters, and good for control of paint and water for detailed areas. But I did find them to be too limiting with the amount of paint and water they could carry, and frustrating due to frequent paint and water reloads and constant hard edges due to low water load and high pigment to water ratio for whatever they could carry. For the Billy Showell brushes, they are soft sable hair round brushes with extra fine tips. Billy sells these fine tip natural rounds in 2, 4, 6, and 8, and also a small flat synthetic brush for corrections. Because she uses sable hair in her brushes and sells larger sizes, Billy's brushes cost more than twice as much as Anna's brushes. I'll be demoing the size 2 Billy Showell brush as it's close in size to the 2 largest Anna Mason brushes, and again you can see me making various strokes with my Billy size 2 round, from fine lines to broad strokes to larger wash sections and dry brush, and I'll explain how that goes. The brush carried a good paint and water load even for a size 2 since it's a conventional round with a fuller belly and absorbent sable hair. The sable also gives it a very smooth light glide across the paper, noticeably lighter than the Anna brushes and much better for a light touch that doesn't disturb previous layers. And I really like that Billy's brushes aren't so full-bellied or long-tipped as to be floppy or hard to control, as this can be a problem with some full-bellied natural round brushes. Her size 2 is very deft and easy to control and gives very easy pin fine lines as well as broader strokes. It also does something else that the Anna brushes just can't do. The hair on the Billy Showell brushes can be flattened and flared out to create expressive textured dry brush marks. Great for grass, fur, or texture and value buildup on petals. Personally, I far and above prefer the Billy Showell brushes because of the gliding softer hair, the better paint and water load, and the very delicate fine tip. I can do all the fine work and detailing I get with the Anna Mason spotters, but I can additionally do better washing, glazing, and blending, and as a bonus, lovely flared out dry brush marks that the Anna brushes can't do at all. Now I'm going to start painting a small painting project using just the Anna Mason brushes for a full product review. I'm using the size 3 and 5 and also a 0 brush. The 0 is not an Anna Mason spotter, but her triple spotter is almost identical. I'm using Daniel Smith and Winsor Newton watercolors on Arches hot press paper for this quick cartoony fall painting of 2 raccoons and 2 pine cones. The color scheme is limited as usual and consists of quinacridone yellow with touches of quinacridone red in a few places, both from Winsor & Newton watercolor pans and Sodalite Genuine from a Daniel Smith watercolor stick. I found that the Daniel Smith watercolor stick was softer and creamier in color release than Winsor & Newton watercolor sticks I have or the Winsor & Newton pans. Both Winsor & Newton products are stiffer than other fine watercolor pans and sticks I have. I'm very happy with the quality of the Daniel Smith watercolors I've bought in the past, and I would definitely recommend them. So Sodalite Genuine is this lovely granulating blue-black. The color is similar to indigo, but even colder and grayer. It's the granulation and the expensive source that's really unique to genuine Sodalite. Sodalite is a rare component of the semi-precious blue stone lapis lazuli. Lapis is used to make the most expensive blue pigment ultramarine, and the Sodalite part of lapis yields a blue-gray, inky, light-fast, granulating, semi-transparent color. I thought Sodalite would be perfect for this simple piece to give more yummy textural pop. Maybe a bit too fine and special given how silly these raccoons are, but the color and granulation suits them. I applied the cool, dark Sodalite in light washes and mid-grays and in darkest darks for the paws and eyes and noses. Then I used the contrasting warm Quin Gold with a dab of Sodalite to neutralize intensity for the cream areas on the raccoons. And the backgrounds ended up a brownish yellow, bloomy mix of Quin Yellow and Quin Red with dabs of Sodalite to bring the intensity down. Painting this solidified my first impression of the Animason brushes. They're good for details, they made for easy eye and nose and paw areas, and single line fur brush strokes. But the larger sections of the raccoon's bodies and the background were tough to glaze on. I had to battle hard edges drying as I went back for more paint and water despite it being such a small painting. I wouldn't ever want to use these brushes myself on a larger painting or for glaze or wash areas in the future. So, to reiterate, I prefer the Billy brushes, but I also prefer Billy's botanical painting style, where there are fine details and also wet and wet washes and glazes and soft blendy effects. Billy paints very fine and small and detailed for stems, leaf veins, stamens, and so on, but her larger leaves and petals are also very smooth and silky looking due to glazes and soft edge blending of wet colors. With Anna, her spotter brushes handle like markers, and she paints like she's coloring with markers. She strokes in the watercolor in small patches that overlap to create a larger piece. So Anna uses few wet into wet blending effects, and this does result in a patchwork of splotches of dry color, but she makes this work for her by utilizing it as texture and by painting in a very large size so that she can step back and zoom out, and then the patches optically mix to create the illusion of a smoother image. Both artists paint lovely botanical pieces, and it's really up to you whose style and painting technique and brushes you thus prefer. In my case, it's Billy, as I like to build up my drawing with blended paint layers, and I use soft blends and glazing and details even in smaller painted areas and artworks, but in your case it might be Anna, or you might like doing both styles on different days. So I finished up one raccoon and pinecone and half the background so you can see how I will do the other half of this piece. And it was a fun, easy, quick painting and a good way to test out the Animason brushes. I hope you found it informative, and again I'll do a future project in a similar style using just the Billy Showell brushes. I don't regret buying the Animason brushes at all because they were all 5 that she uses in a set for a very economical $20, and even if I don't use them to paint larger areas like she does, I will happily place them alongside my other spots for small detail area work, which I do a lot. Well, wizards, thanks for parking your brushes here. Please like, comment, subscribe, and check out my website links and new Patreon page to support this art channel below. If you are already my patron, thanks for being an excellent bird. If you're interested in buying my originals or prints, please email me or visit my website for info. And until next time, wishing you all fantastical painting adventures.